aren't here. Let's just pause for a moment of silence, please. Okay, we'll get started. I will probably stop as I see others come in. So if you see someone come in, just make sure I get them, because right now I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people out of about 30. Okay.
Do you have Chelsea Hurd?
What said they saw 14?
Dr. Bell, I think it's a lot of us in here.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. That's what I say. Okay, wait. Let me open up. Okay, all right. Who said that? Who told me you thought there were a lot of you? I had no clue.
Chelsea.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Turn that other light off.
And I'm doing 2 classes, so
Nessa, turn that light off. You see I'm in class.
got you, Kimberly. Baby. Feel the same way. I've had 3 classes back to back to back, but hey. I'm glad that I'm able to have them.
Is that somebody trying to buffer in? Or am I going crazy?
No. Do y'all see somebody else? 1.
I thought I did.
Okay, 3, 6. Chadwick's coming in, I think. If I've got her. Yeah, I got her. She's in. Okay, let's get started.
Do you have Chelsea Hurd?
Yes, Chelsea, ma'am, I have you. Are you in your classroom tonight, or this just the way it looks? Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. And what we're going to do tonight, you know, I thought this over, and I thought about this a couple of times, and I thought about this might be the best way to just talk through it. So if you had questions that you could ask them as we go through, this process. And I am working on correcting your other information, but I do want to go back because we do have a few more. This is week 5, so we do have a few more assignments. Do me a favor. I had 2 classes, OSO1, and I had OSO1. Everybody was in OSO1. It was a lot, so they divided up to OSO1, OSO2. So I thought I had my OSO1. I thought I had my Moodle shell dates and all correct. And then when I went to OSO2, it's in such a hurry. You all know that we were divided up, so I tried to get things in a hurry. So I may have missed some dates. And I went over it twice. I don't know what happened that I missed some of those. But anyway, all I want to say to you is at this point that if we're all assignments, I don't care what Moodle says. Your assignments are due on Sunday by 6. All assignments are due on Sunday by 6. That is in the assignment guidelines, I think. I thought I put that in the assignment guidelines. So, you know, if there was an assignment that says it was due like on November the 12th or the 13th or the 14th, you should say, oh, well, Dr. Bell made a mistake. Let me send her an email and see if that's right, or is this assignment due? Don't wait until the Sunday that it's due to say, oh, I thought it was due on the 11th. Come on now. You all are adults. Yes, we are not perfect. We all make mistakes. I made a mistake. But help me out here, okay? So if you see that there's an error, just let me know. But, you know, just to clarify, all the assignments are due on Sunday by 6 o'clock. We talked about that as a group. Everybody probably was not here when we talked about it, but it is in the assignment guidelines. I had a student the other day, I asked, I said they did not copy and paste directions. Well, what does that mean? Well, I had explained that it's in the assignment guidelines. So listen, just read your assignment guidelines. I don't want to take any points away from you. I tell you and I tell everybody, all of my classes are A classes. They become B classes because you make them B classes. They become C classes because you make them C classes. I expect everybody to make an A. Though everybody may not, Well, it's there for you. It's not a hard class. It's not a hard task. So just try to get your work in. We're not perfect. We know things happen. If you let me know, I can work with you, because I'd want somebody to work with me the same way I want you to work with me with the errors and some of the mistakes that you find.
Dr. Bell, just a quick question. I noticed for this week's assignments, it says it was due like 6 days ago. Since Moodle has that it's not right, will that affect it when we
No,
hand it in?
I'll correct it. When I corrected something earlier that had a date that was incorrect. So is that the one? Have you checked it lately? When was the last time you checked it? And if you tell me which one it is, I'll try to put a note so that I can correct it. And which class? 01, 02?
02.
I'm not
I
surprised.
checked it a couple days ago, so it was since then. So, oh yeah, on Sunday, I saw it.
Okay, so it's good now, Laura?
I can check right now.
Okay, good. Because I saw it when I went back through checking some things. I said, well, let me just go through and check it. So, but if you see something like that, just send me an email. I don't have a problem with that. I will not. It helps me. Thank you. And it keeps students from getting confused. See if there's anything else. I don't think so. Let's delve into PPAT task 1. Some of you uploaded your written document. Please don't do that for your artifacts. All I need for your artifacts are your artifacts. I don't need any writing because all your writing is on this sheet, okay? That's where it is. Okay, so let's get started. This is going to take us a while and depends on how fast you talk. Okay, let me see if I can share this screen. Okay, so as most of you know, let me see if I can get everybody back as best I can. Okay, all right. So as most of you know, can you see the screen? Task 1.
Yes.
Okay, so we know that all of these were due week 4, your contextual factors chart, your instructional support resources chart, you're getting to know your student document, and of course the document that demonstrated communication with parents. Okay, so then we move into text box 111, understanding the contextual factors influencing instruction and student learning. Okay, now as we discuss this, I need you to use complete sentences as we talk about it. So you can chime in, whoever feels like you have the information that you like to share. That's what we're going to do. So it says address each item. So we'll start off. Identify your community factors. So who would like to take the community factor, describe your instructional strategy and your learning activity, and provide the rationale? So I want you to do all 4. And we're just here to listen. And if we hear something, we'll correct it. We're not beating up on anybody. And I think it's important if we discuss it. Who wants to start? Who wants to try?
I'll try.
Thank you.
So my community factor was that most of the children in my community grow up in a single parent home. And so I chose to do a compare and contrast as my instructional strategy. And I'm sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. And so for my learning activity, I said the teacher and children would read a book called My Family, Your Family. After reading the book, the children would be asked to draw a picture of their families. We would discuss the differences and similarities in each family. After all children have completed a picture of their families, we will make a quilt representing all the types of families in the classroom. The next part was providing a rationale to explain how the identified strategy and activity connects to the chosen factor. I said that it would help children understand that understanding that each family has differences and that it is okay that our families are not the same, and to grow appreciation for their family and to feel celebrated within the classroom.
Okay, so did you hear the flow of that? She provided the community factor, she shared the strategy, she shared the learning activity, and she provided the rationale as to why she selected that strategy and that activity. Understood?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Let's move on then. How about who wants to do your district factor?
I'll do my district factor.
Thank you.
As a district, the factor being used is about free lunches and reduced lunches. There's a large population that receives free and reduced lunches.
Okay.
Using a guided inquiry-based strategy, the students could research what's going into building school lunches and also the free school lunch program. They would research the program and learn what is needed for it to work. Giving them the capability to research and learn on their own terms will spark their interest in school lunches and also help them feel confident in the choices they are making. For the learning activity, I would make this into a project. First, they would split into small groups, and each group would research both the federal and state school lunch policy and what is required for the program to succeed. After their research, each group will present findings and create a week's worth of school lunch menus that would fit the requirements for the program. When the menus are completed and fit the requirements, as a class, we will present them to the district for consideration to add to the school lunch menu.
Okay. And what was your rationale again? Tell me that.
The rationale was that this would help them to be able to work on their own level within the group, and also that they could present what they have worked on and present it to the district. I guess maybe I missed the second part within the learning activity.
Would you have what grade level? Because that seems like a that's really high functioning. What level? Grade level?
I teach fourth grade.
Fourth grade? Okay. Since the majority of the students are free, maybe since there's a majority of students free and reduced lunch, the activity the rationale for that is for them to understand what the research is to, I think would be more for them to understand why the opportunity for free and reduced lunches are there, and that would be for what reason? Why are free and reduced lunches there?
For
For
those-
poverty and,
Yeah.
To provide food to children who might not get it otherwise.
Right.
uh-huh,
And we know the term poverty, but we wouldn't
income based.
income. And that might not be for fourth grade. You might just want to say I think the best rationale would be to provide meals for students who may not receive a balanced meal or a full course meal or whatever. And for them, leave out poverty, because if I'm getting, and I'm a believer that everybody should be getting free lunch. I don't care who it is. If you're gonna give it to one, give it to all of them. Because
I hear
if you
you.
don't, when the students get free lunch, it's like, okay, I got free lunch because I'm poor. So we don't want to exhibit that type of knowledge to the kids, even though they probably already know. But I think it was just to make sure that students receive a nutritious meal would have been a good, because when they did the research, they would have found that out, right, Laura?
Yes, because it has to fit a certain requirement to, be there, because it has to be
Damn.
and fit guidelines.
Okay, good. Y'all are doing great. How about who wants to do the school factor?
Do the school factor.
School or
I
district? Okay.
chose family engagement as my school factor. And I said that I would facilitate technology to provide caregivers with weekly lesson plans.
Slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit for me.
Oh, sorry. With activity extensions that can be done at home, as well as newsletters and other classroom and individual student updates. And the activity to further student learning would be family project called Our Family Tree.
Okay.
The children and caregivers would work together at home to create a family tree that would be presented in the classroom to show our students and teachers. And the family trees would be displayed in the classroom. for students to observe and deepen their understanding that families come in various forms and sizes. And the rationale was that this would create meaningful family time between students and caregivers, and also will allow students to observe as parents are active participants in their learning.
So because that family time is important. So, and because that was the factor of family engagement, that was important too. So good, that was good, good rationale. Any questions? Do you understand? Could you see the flow? My district factor was, my instructional strategy is, my learning activity was, and this is why I chose that. You got it? That's what you need to do. That's all you need to do. And I think a lot of people will look at it and it seems a little bit hard or difficult because there is a lot of reading. But what I also like to say is slow down. And if you look at that, if you just take it one piece at a time, just like I broke it down for you, it's not so overwhelming. It really is not if you think through it. Okay, so let's move on to 1.12, available resources to enhance student learning. Okay, we were to select 2 resources from a completed instructional support resources, and I broke it down, resource 1, resource 2. So that's what we're going to do because that's the way it was done on the sheet. So we can try to discuss it that way. Okay, select who wants resource number 1 and explain how you would use the resource in your classroom to support student learning. Nobody?
I
I can do it.
try, or
Okay.
whoever.
Okay. Michelle, okay.
Yeah, okay. So I do preschool. So my chosen demographic was ethnicity, because I have like every ethnicity in my classroom this year. It's really cool to see actually. But the strategy I said I would do was cultural instruction, meaning that I would build different cultures and ethnicities into my classroom with pictures, books, and music for my tools or resources that I do have.
Okay.
And then since they're so young and they respond best to pictures, I said that I would do read different books, and then we could sit down as a group and look at pictures or listen to 2 CDs and compare and contrast the similarities and differences that we see with ethnicities in people and different cultural backgrounds and stuff like that. I think I answered all of it.
Okay, well, and I think that's good. Explain how you would use a resource in your classroom to support student learning. And trust me, this will help them to stay focused because you are talking about everybody gets a little piece of the pie. So that's good. Laura, you were talking about the free and reduced lunch, and I asked you about the grade level. That is a very challenging activity. I think it's really good because it produces or helps the students to critical think. So I just wanted to know because it was at a high level in order to be able to do that. So that was good. All right, how about resource number 2? Instructional resources support chart, resource number 2, and explain how you would use it.
I can use it. Go. I'm sorry. So one of my resources were the libraries, both the local public library and the university library close to our school. So how I would use that resource is by supplementing my books based on the topic that we're talking about in the classroom. So going to the library, picking up books to give my children access to more books about the topic that we're discussing.
So you get a greater variety of books from the other libraries rather than in your own. What level are you? Elementary or?
I am a pre-K teacher.
Pre-K, yeah.
In a private site.
Yes, you would probably definitely get more information from those other libraries. Select a particular characteristic that you listed in the knowledge of individual students in the contextual factors chart. And based on the selected characteristic, explain how a resource from the instructional and support resources chart, this is number 3, would be the same. It says, could enhance student learning. So we need a third one. What's the third one? Who wants to do the third one? Who wants to do the third one? Who wants
I
to do?
think I can I try?
All right, yes.
So, okay, give me a second. Okay, so
Pick the
one of the,
resource.
I'm sorry.
Just pick the resource. Which one did you use?
The one I used was instructional materials. So for my
Instructional
students,
trips,
no, materials.
instructional materials.
Yes, ma'am. So because we are virtual, I have to do a lot of visual things. So on Class Dojo, I post pictures and do videos of myself using different tools in order to help the children be able to hold the pencil, because during class we practice writing various letters and words.
Mhm.
So there's a couple of tips that we use to help them actually use the 3-point instead of the fisting. And teaching them how to hold a pencil.
Okay, and that's important because they help them to learn to write. Good, good job.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, activity 3. Any questions? Are y'all getting this? You see the flow?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, understanding classroom norms, protocols, and agreements. Now, everybody's not participating, and you know what? I'm not going to fuss at you, because when it's time to do this, if you haven't done this, if you didn't do this activity, you're going to suffer, okay? So I hope that you've done it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so if you haven't done it, that's on you. You will suffer when it's time, I'm sure.
I'm trying to soak everything in.
Okay. Understanding
when I was-
classroom norms, protocols, and agreements. It said assess and review the norms, protocols, and/or agreements for the classroom to which you are assigned, and then respond to the guiding prompts below. And I will say this, everybody that has participated so far has done an excellent job. And probably in writing for ETS, you might want to expand it and expound on it just a little bit more. But for the purpose of what we're doing, it helps you to gain an understanding of what the prompts look like. And that's what this is all about, to go through it with you. So when it's time to do it, you won't say, oh, I've never seen that before. All right, let's look at the classroom norm, protocol, or agreement. Who wants to come up with the norm? Who has a norm? And you're going to describe one example of that norm, and then you're going to tell us how it facilitates instruction, how it enhances student learning. Okay, who's that?
I was gonna say,
Who's speaking?
Bobby,
Bobby, okay.
carpet time.
Carpet time, okay.
That's one way they practicing open discussions. Even though I was a Head Start, and we would just pull them together, and well, we would start off with a story, but have an open discussion about the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Mhm.
And
Okay, so we have carpet time, Bobby, right?
yes,
So how does the carpet time, pulling all the students to the carpet, how does that facilitate your instruction? How does that help you to get your topic out, your subject, whatever it is you're going to teach? How does that help you to do that?
I believe it helps them focus more on what help them. Oh Jesus,
No.
sorry.
No, that's right. It helps them to focus. I was going to say to concentrate. Everybody's there
It
together.
gives them more focus on what you're trying to say
Mhm.
at the time. I mean, them being at the desk is good enough for me as far as going around the classroom. But when I'm bringing them to the top to the carpet, it's like everybody's trying to put it into words and I'm stumbling. When I bring them to the carpet, it's like everybody's focus is centered.
Mhm.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes good sense to me, because if they're at the desk, sometimes they're fidgeting and doing other things, but if everybody's on the carpet, you become the center of attention and in close proximity as well. So how will that enhance student learning?
I believe it enhances because they pay more attention of what you're trying to say.
What you're trying to say.
what you're
Not
trying
only
to do.
that, and go back to the close proximity as well. You're right
Yeah.
there with them. When you're in the classroom, everybody's at their desk, and you're in the front. Maybe, I know most of you, I hope that you kind of walk around to make yourself known in the classroom. But if you're right there with them, that proximity is really important. So with that being said, then how does that impact the learning?
I think it, but I think that, how do I put it? Somebody just tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
I think it just,
I think it would help with social emotional development because you have to balance your needs while you're in the group.
Say what now? That's good. Say what now?
I think it would help with social emotional development because you have to balance your needs when you're in a group and follow the rules of the group setting.
Mm-hmm.
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point.
So when you have them and you're sitting in close proximity with them and they are attentive unto you, then they learn more. They're more engaged. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. Good job. So how about a technology norm?
The smart board.
Who's talking? Who's speaking?
Sorry, that's Bobby again.
Okay, that's fine. Go have at it. You love it. Go. Okay, so what's the rule for the smart board?
The rules.
Well, I mean, you said smart board. It says, what's the norm or the protocol or the agreement that you have for the smart board in your classroom if you're going to use the smart board?
Before as soon as you turn it on, you got to calibrate it.
Okay. So,
but then make sure.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry too. But what we need to do is if you're going to do the smart board has to be a procedure within the classroom where the students are involved in. That calibration and all of that is your responsibility, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So can you have another one or someone else? Does someone else have technology?
I think I can.
Okay, Chelsea.
I think I can help with the smart board. So I use the smart board particularly in my classroom for circle time and as a center. Only 2 children are allowed to use the smart board when it is used as a center. There's only 2 games they're able to play. So one is a letter matching game and one is a number game. The time limit on it is in each center is about 15 minutes. But for the smart board, it's only 10. I don't want them on there too long. But that's the rule in my classroom. And as far as it being with circle time, the smart board, the rule is for when we come together, when it's time for you to come up to the smart board and use it, be gentle with it, stuff like that. But other than that, is using it as a center.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in a severe profound room. So I would only call up 1 at a time because I would actually go through certain questions and just have 1 up. So we only had 4 kids in the classroom. In the severe profound room, so them getting too close to each other was pretty much out of the question.
Okay.
So, but we would call 1 up at a time to and go through the question, guide them through the question, and have them choose the answer.
Okay. So now, how does
a lot of times?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bob.
No, you good? I was about to say, if you feel like cutting me off, cut me off. But just guide them through I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. So if we, maybe to come back to you. So how does either sending 1 or 2 children to the smart board at a time facilitate instruction?
Facilitate.
If it's 2 of them, it helps with cooperative play and learning to work together. And also it facilitates learning by setting an expectation. So if the time limit is 10 minutes and say you have a timer set up, it helps them regulate what they're doing and stopping at the appropriate time, and also allowing other people to work with that smart board.
Okay. So those 2 people are there and there's an activity. Do they work with each other too?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's kind of like a racing game. So whoever can get them right the quickest.
Oh, but they're not helping each other, right?
No.
Oh, it's a competition.
But in the other game,
are they
one is a
competing against each other?
game, one is a team effort.
Okay. Bobby?
I was asking her, are they competing against each other? Are they racing like side by side?
No, but you know, I'm a pre-K teacher, so they're gonna race against each other. It's inevitable.
True. And with my class, it was more just about learning technology. Because I mean, you know, sir, with the severe profound, they're not, how do I put it? I mean, severe profound, they were all autistic. So it was just pretty much introducing, you know, touching the board and, you know, the board, pretty much technology is at your command. Just teaching them that concept that technology is pretty much at your command. You can do pretty much whatever you want with it.
As long as it's working.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, so now let's talk about the students at the smart board. We already know how it facilitates instruction. So how does it enhance learning? Let's talk about the activity, not with the race, not with the competition, but when you have two students at the smart board and they're helping each other. So how will that facilitate or enhance student learning?
Teamwork.
Okay, so in my particular class, we practice writing letters. And so in a circle time, that's something we would do. Each child would have a little board where they could practice writing a letter while I write it for them. Then that particular smart board game, say one child knows that this is a capital H and another child doesn't know that, they can help each other. Okay, we'll click this one because this is an H. Oh, well, this matches with this one. Type of situation.
So how would that that agreement that only two people at the board at the time, correct? How does that impact the learning environment?
So that's also social emotional, and because that regulates the emotions and turn taking, and being respectful to others and following the rules of the classroom.
So and you think also you don't have everybody running to the smart board at the same time. We can't go. Only two can go, so everybody can sit back and kind of wait. And if you're sitting back and you're waiting, watching to see what's happening with the two people who are there, students are more focused, more engaged. I think what's very important is that you remember that students have to be engaged in order to learn. They have to be engaged in order to learn. So if we lose them, you can forget it. Okay, questions, comments, concerns about the technology norm. We did a couple of classroom norms. All right, now let's look at creating a norm or protocol. I know you're not in school, but who has one you like to share that you, even if you didn't get a chance to create it, it's one that you would have created if you had a classroom full of students?
Not today.
What norm, what rule, what protocol, what agreement would you have designed?
So in my classroom, we agreed. We agreed that when we're.
Hold up, who else?
Okay.
Oh, it was me, Laura.
Okay, Laura Charmaine. Well, I'll hear from Charmaine, then I want to hear from Laura. Go ahead.
Okay. In my classroom, we created a norm that our lips are zipped when someone else is talking. So we talked about why it's important to not talk when others are talking, and we practiced if everybody's talking at one time, can anybody hear? And so that helps us facilitate learning because the children are more able to actively listen to their peers, and they're able to actively listen to the teacher and comment and give feedback based on what we're talking about.
Okay. So if the lips are zipped, they can't talk, so they have to listen. That facilitates learning. And as they listen, that enhances the learning. And of course, and the more they learn, the greater impact that will have on the learning, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Those were three very simple things and three very simple statements. But what you do with those, you have to expand on those for ETS. Well, that's very simple. No, the lips are zipped. The lips are zipped. There's not a lot of talking going around the classroom. So they're focused, they're engaged, they're paying attention. If they're paying attention, We pray that they're learning, and if they're learning, then that has to impact the learning process. Okay? All right. Laura, you want to share one?
Yes, I was going to say that I use the 5-finger rule, which is my eyes are open, my mouth is quiet, my ears are listening, you know, my body is still, and my heart is open. And I use that for like every story time that I have, so that the kids not only are just quiet and still, but also they know that, okay, I have to have myself open to what I'm about to hear, not just my body, but also my mind.
So that facilitates your instruction by what?
It facilitates it in 2 ways, for social and emotional learning, you know, to keep an open mind for everything when I say an open heart. And it also facilitates it so that the children are quiet during reading time and can understand what I'm saying.
So how does that enhance instruction or student learning?
Ooh, it gives them the capability of understanding what is happening.
Because they're not moving around, everything is quiet, everything is calm. So they can, we keep coming back to focused and what? Engaged.
Engagement.
If they're focused and engaged, they're going to do what?
Pay attention.
Going to pay attention and
Learn.
And so with that, then what, how does it, we asked the question, how would it impact learning? Well, hopefully with them listening, they're going to learn. So that, to me, and I broke those out, it's not quite that deep in the PPAT, but I wanted us to be able to do that so that you could hear and understand. All right, questions, comments, concerns? Anybody else want to share? Y'all scared of
I
me?
used to, at when I was at one of the high schools, I used to share the same, it was kind of a nonsense poem every time at the beginning of each class to get to start that engagement. And everybody would have to be quiet. And one student ended up actually writing it down and trying to say it back to me. But that was, it was pretty much just an attention getter for like the beginning of class. But that it worked out most of the time, because by the time I was done, they were all just looking at me like, what's he gonna do next?
So that gained that attention to make sure that, you know, standing up, listening, and taking care of. I don't know who's calling me. Okay, let's look at the other one. The next one, the knowledge of students, getting to know your students. Create a meaningful whole class activity that honors and values your students as unique individuals. Look at the first one. Somebody think about it. I need to take this call, okay? I'll be right back. Hello?
What did she just read?
Activity 1, getting to know your students, I believe.
Thank you.
So these are based off of that student interest survey, right?
Yes, based on the compilation of you're getting student interest or whatever you use, because, you know, we talked about using several different activities for getting to know you. So whatever you use, just tell us what you use if you're going to talk about it. And then it says based on the compilation of information for getting to know your student activity, analyze one example of how this information would influence an instructional decision that you would make in your classroom. Why did you make that decision? And it says B, information would influence your instructional decision that you would make for the student. Okay, so you got to think about it for your classroom, then think about it for the individual student. Who wants to do that?
I'll go.
Okay, Karen.
So what I chose was an all about me bag, where the students pick 4 items that kind of describe themselves or things that they like. And within that bag, they take out each item and they talk about it.
Okay.
So this gets them used to getting to know their classmates and see if they can find some similarities, like find out who likes the same things they do. Gets them talking and gets them, it's almost like a show and tell, where afterwards the other students can ask the one student on, you know, why they chose those items for the bag. So that's kind of what I was thinking about the All About bag. So it gets them interacting with each other. It finds out what the strategies, finding out who has similarities, who has differences. And then also the cooperative learning, because they're kind of all doing the same thing, but in a different way. And it gets those people who are not really outgoing students, who are more timid, allowing them to get a chance to talk in class.
Okay. So how would this influence your instructional decisions, making an instructional decision to teach the students in that class?
So
use that.
with the All About Me bag, I can kind of get an idea of what the students' interests are, and then based on how our curriculum goes, kind of take their interest and kind of expand on that, like either further activities or more project based. Sorry for my voice. I've been talking a lot today.
A lot. I've had 3 classes, so.
So.
Okay, good. Does anybody else want to share? That was good.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I can share. Okay, let's Bailey, then Bobby.
Okay.
All right. So since I teach online, I'm a music teacher for kindergarten through 5th grade. So I teach the whole school.
Interesting.
It is extremely interesting at the moment. So I'm basically teaching, you know, around 600 something kids at the moment. And the only way that I'm really able to get their interest is since we are going through Google Classroom majority of the time, with the curriculum for all of them online, I made a survey through Google for them to fill out. And of course, you know, you have your different students that are auditory, visual, and kinesthetic learners, you know, and et cetera, et cetera. So I decided to put it in more watered down terms to basically say, okay, in music class, would you rather learn by doing a song with the dance? Would you rather listen to a song and talk about it? Or would you rather see an example of something through music on the board? And majority of them said that they would like to do song or dance, which leads me to believe that they learn better kinesthetically, like basically, you know, relating certain musical concepts to like hand, arm, feet movement. So that'll probably impact my teaching to go from less teaching on the board, which is what I've been doing a lot lately, just so that they can get a visual. But now that leads me to believe now I need to probably delve more into maybe more call and response songs, maybe some songs that they may know, and then relate them to concepts that they need to know based off of my objectives.
So you see how important it is to use this material to guide your teaching. You probably would have never thought to do that, but once you saw them in their reactions. Now, and I'll say this and I'll let Bobby go. Zip lips, I can't remember, I didn't write your name down, Zip lips, but with the zip lips and then allowing the students the opportunity to make some choices. When students have to make rules, they're more apt to abide by those rules. And when you give them choices, they're more apt to participate. And there again, they participate, abide by the rules, then they're more engaged. Okay, good job. Bobby?
I used to have students come up to the front of the class and just do a self-introductory. And then after each introductory, we would have a discussion of, you know, other similar, whoever had like a similar like or a similar, anything that they had similar, it would be a discussion between me, them, and the other student.
Okay.
And then we would keep going until pretty much everybody got a chance to go up. Gave everybody about a minute to a minute and a half. And just to get everybody talking and engaged. And there I go again.
No, but you know, once you do that, you learn about your students. That length of time gives you a screenshot, a snapshot into who they are, what they like, and then you know what to do from there. So that makes
And I actually found out that some of the students are kind of like me, actually.
How about that? Did you
Yeah.
share that with them?
I sure did.
Okay. You know there's a, what's the saying? They don't care how much you know to you, they know how much you care. So, and if you
Exactly.
share that, and children thrive, they don't want to see us as, oh, I don't mean this being as better than. I mean, I came from the projects, and so I know she's not from the projects. My teacher is from maybe the country club or from a more affluent community, so she probably doesn't want to have anything to do with me. But when you share your story with your students,
Hmm.
they understand because we've all had struggles. So when they know that you've had struggles and they're struggling too, then they're more apt to listen to you because they feel you as a person at that particular time. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Dr. Bell, I wanted to share.
Okay, Danielle.
So I'm also a K-5 music teacher,
Mhm.
and the introductory activity that I chose to submit was a scavenger hunt,
Okay.
and it basically listed several questions so that I could get to know the students, but so that they can get to know their classmates. And it asked questions about their favorite type of music. Have they ever been to a concert? Do they know any current music from today? Um, do they like to sing? And I think those are things that are important to know because, like in class today, I realized a lot of my fifth graders did not want to sing, and that's pretty standard across the board.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good that I knew whether they like to sing or not so that I can kind of work around that.
That's right. And then you can provide, they don't like to sing, so you can do other activities. And then, of course, you
Right.
have to put some singing in there, but they're more apt to do it because you've done other things that they like to see.
Right.
Do. Okay. All right. Describe focus students, cultural. You got to pick your two students. So we'll just talk about a couple of people can share their focus one or focus two. It doesn't matter. It's the same information. It's just that if you were if you were taking a PPAT, you'd have to have two. So it doesn't matter. If you can do one, you can do another. Okay. So who wants to share information? It says describe the focus students' cultural and linguistic assets, lived experiences and academic strengths and learning needs. Tell us who you selected and go through all of that. Explain how focus student one contributes to the learning environment in the classroom. And then we're going to identify an instructional strategy. We're going to explain how that strategy reflects your understanding and appreciation for the student's background. Then you're going to describe the possible learning activity, and we'll just go through that. Just look at your list and go down through it.
Dr. Bell, are you sharing this on your screen?
No.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I was a little confused too.
Wow, you should have your papers.
Oh, I didn't print them.
I told you to print them down. Okay, all right, let's go. Who's sharing? This is a long one. Nobody wants to share this one. It is long, but we can get through it. Let's
Focus
stay here all
students,
night then.
cultural, linguistic assets, lived experiences. Woo!
Take it a little bit at a time. All right, who selected a student?
I'll
I
try.
can probably think of one. Oh, sorry.
Who's that?
Charmaine.
Okay, you don't have to say you're gonna try because you're gonna do this.
So I have a child. We'll call him D. He is from a bilingual family, so they speak both English and Spanish at home. D is the youngest of two children, and academically, he is very good with STEM activities, building, and those would be his strengths.
Okay.
His learning needs, he needs to work on listening comprehension and understanding what is being said to him. And so he contributes to our learning environment. He's a very sweet boy, always helping. So he contributes by showing others to use their helping hands, which is a rule in our class, is to use helping hands. And I would say an instructional strategy for him would be to get moving. He's very hands-on, kinesthetic. So just for an example, one thing that we're working on him with is his alphabet. So we found a alphabet song that uses body movements as we're learning the alphabet. So while we're dancing, we're also holding up a card to show him the letter and help him associate the letter with the movement and the sound to try to bring it all together for him.
Okay.
I think I answered everything.
Okay. Reflects your understanding and appreciation for his cultural and linguistic assets, lived experiences, academic streaks, and learning needs. Okay, because you're working with him through all of those. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else want to try? Good job.
Thank you.
I just have a question. How do you, like, I have one kid in my class. I'm sorry, my voice is really, really bad today. I have them all virtual. So I can choose one, which made it really hard for the second one because the only one I chose is because I know them personally.
Mm-hmm.
So the second one for me is really hard because, sorry, excuse me.
Okay.
Because I don't see them. We just do virtual learning, but I don't see them like we are looking at each other right now.
Okay.
Mine are more instructional videos that they view later. So I don't know how to describe the second one.
Which would be
Like the second student. I can describe the first one because I know them personally. So I have viewed them, how he acts, reacts, his cultural life, his all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know any of my students personally because there haven't been in my classroom all year. And I don't see them, I don't communicate with them through Zoom or anything like that. It's very parent-based communication.
Okay. In a case like this, someone else help her out? I got an emergency call I've got to make. I'm sorry.
All right, I can do it.
Okay, you're gonna help her out with that?
Thank you.
Who's that, Bailey?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, personally, what I do, since I'm actually in the same boat as you, I do not do live Zooms. I have to do pre-recorded things, and then I post them on Google Classroom and Seesaw. What I've been having my kids do, just so I can, like, you know, have a name to a face to a name, and kind of get to know, like, their vibe when it comes to my curriculum, is I've been having them do, have you ever heard of Flipgrid?
Yes, but I teach preschool, so it's really hard.
Oh.
That's another, excuse me, that's another thing that it is really hard for my kids to do extra because
right.
They don't know how to work a computer, and then their parents are doing everything for them. So it's really hard for me to get to know my kids because I'm only doing packets and interactive videos or posts that their parents help them with. So I try to make it very simple, but I haven't seen them, you know, interact with me because I just do one-sided videos. I don't do the other. Like, it would be nice for me to do a Zoom like this. I could see the them interact with me, but I can't.
Right. So, do you guys have, like, specified emails for the kids, like, so that you're able to, I guess, get in contact with the parents, or is it just kind of them?
No. So what? I teach at a Head Start, and so what they did was they made a Facebook page, and so, like, that's where I upload my videos through the day, and how the parents interact with me through Facebook. But I don't really know how to get my kids to interact with me.
Yeah. Well, see, with the reason why I asked the thing about the email is you can specify a Flipgrid based off of email. And then it's very, very simple. Once you go ahead and press sign into an email or, you know, whatever they decide to go do the Flipgrid through, because it can be through like a Gmail or whatever, then all they have to do is press record and follow the assignment link that you send them, and it sends them literally straight to the assignment. So the parent, all they have to do is press play, record, and then you can have your kids sing like the ABC song, and then pause, post, done. And that's literally all Flipgrid is. And maybe that could give you an idea of where they are and like what level they're at in some sort of way. Because even the parents, when I worked with kindergarten and first grade, the parents seem to kind of get it, because I know the 5 and 6 year olds, they're not doing the Flipgrid by themselves. Like, I understand.
Yeah.
But
What level of Head Start are you at?
Understanding it. What is it?
My Head Start is 3 to 5 year olds. They're mixed together. So
I did I did pretty much everything. But I did Head Start for 6 years. And I did just about every level except for the babies. I did everything except for the babies. But and you are right. They're how do I put it? Sometimes their attention span will kind of have you like up the wall. So getting them to look at a computer screen for a certain amount of time. So I definitely see where you're going with that though. Because when you're trying to get to know them for who they are, I mean, like you said, you worked with the 3 to 5s. So yeah. you had the mixed classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that I never worked in the mixed classroom. I was either with the 3-year-olds or the 4 and 5. In our county they put the 4 and 5-year-olds together.
Could the children put videos to Facebook and send them like via message to you? If you're doing it that way, can they do it the same way and send it?
It's harder.
So it's really, for me, my thing is like participation in my class. We've been doing online since September, and I went from like everybody participating to 4. I had 18 kids in my class to 4 people participating. Yeah. So this week I'm trying to get them to post videos like that, because I do need to see them interacting with their parent. I asked them today to go outside and run really fast and run really slow and go up a hill and go down a hill, because I need this stuff also for my job, for my anecdotal notes, for my projects that I have in mind and stuff. So I did do that today. I've gotten 2 responses today, so hopefully it'll get better throughout the week.
See, I think I took the classroom for granted when I was at Head Start, because when I think back, oh, you okay, babe?
Yeah.
When I think back, like when I was at like let's say, have you ever heard of, what city are you in, babe?
I'm in Brunswick County.
Brunswick, okay. I'm in Fayetteville.
Okay.
And I did Rosemary Head Start, not Rosemary, but Cedar Creek.
So you work for Action Pathways?
Yes.
I just left.
What you know about Action Pathways?
I just left there. I was at E. Miller.
You was at E. Miller?
Mm-hmm.
Stop lying. That's
now I'm in the school system.
Oh my goodness. I used to work, you just blew my mind just for a second. Hold on. I used to work at, like I said, the Cedar Creek one.
Mm-hmm.
I did Strickland Bridge.
Okay.
And I did Southern Avenue. I was at Southern Avenue the longest.
Okay.
Yeah, I was at Southern Avenue the longest. But that's pretty much where we had like all those mixed rooms. Mm-hmm. Southern Avenue and Lake Rim.
Yeah.
That's where the mixed classrooms were. So there was like a lot of, that's why I'm saying I take the classrooms for granted, because now it's like you can't get the especially with that age range, you can't get them to focus as much. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Especially at a center like what was that one? What's that one called on Cedar Creek Road? That big one with all those huts?
Oh, that's
I can't remember it.
it's down by the river.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
What is that one called?
River Commons.
River Commons. Yeah, I was in hut. I did like I was in every hut, but oh my gosh. All right, y'all. Ooh,
Iris, did you get some help? Did y'all get her straight?
we're trying to. Hold on,
A
y'all. I
little
got.
bit of help with the flip grid. I think I'm gonna incorporate that in my classroom this week, so that I could get
Oh,
some
I gotta go.
student interaction with me, because that was my problem, that I don't get a lot of interaction with my kids because everything is online and it's a pre-recorded video. I'm not live, so that's the thing. So I think I'm gonna try that flip grid that you guys recommended and see
Sit
how.
down, y'all.
Okay.
I gotta go, Miss Bell.
Okay. We're almost done. So with that, and just know this, bye Bobby, just know this, that it's difficult now and it won't be when you're in the classroom. Okay?
Yes.
It won't be when you're in the classroom. Okay, the last one, communicating with parents. Who wants to take that one? That's short. Oh. And I think those are the same ones, so we'll be through. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H are the pretty much use examples, do not upload. Explain how your method. Okay, let's talk about the method of communication. And let's just talk about, one person may not have to do it all, but you can just share. Explain how your method of communication convey the importance of cultivating positive relationships with the students and their families.
I can.
Okay.
Oh, you go ahead.
So I
Okay.
used a letter that I wrote last year, an introductory letter to introduce my parents and my choir students to chorus, because a lot of the students didn't have prior singing opportunities. And the letter, one, introduced them to me, and I discussed my expectations in the letter, like what time they had to be in my room, what we would cover in each rehearsal, and just kind of letting them know what time they had to be picked up, things like that.
Okay.
I don't know if I covered everything.
Okay. Use examples for your communication to support your explanation. Describe the overall response that you received from you probably didn't receive any because you didn't send it home. And this response, did you?
Yes. Well, this is a letter I used from last year, but it was sent home, and we use Class Dojo. So if parents had any questions, they would just shoot me a message in Dojo. And I also created a Facebook music class group.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some parents join that group, and they were able to communicate with me through that.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to share?
And
Who's
right.
that?
It's Bailey again.
Bailey, okay.
So basically, I talked through a letter to the parents, basically acknowledging the school and kind of its demographic. We all know, and it's basically well known, that my part of Nash County, which is where I work, it is very, there's a lot of poverty and there's a lot of diversity in the community. And I wanted to acknowledge that, you know, I see the cultural differentiation between each child and their family. And I'm going to be teaching world music. But I would like to have, you know, parent interaction if I'm teaching a certain part of the world music curriculum to have them come into my pre-recorded Zoom and maybe give musical examples. Like if they play instruments based in that culture, I'd like to hear that. And maybe give more insight on the actual culture, because, you know, obviously if I'm not a part of it, I can't really teach it to the best of my ability as much as someone that has actually experienced it can. And I'd like to be able to respect everybody's culture as much as I can. So I want them to be able to have, you know, a voice out of that culture to speak on it from the parents.
From the parents, okay. And all I say, because we are running a little over tonight, and I don't want to keep you too long, but just make sure that whenever you, good job, thank you, Bailey, for sharing that. And when you're, let's just be open and honest with what you've done here tonight and what you've heard and that we've discussed. Was that really a hard task? Not too bad, right? Because now you've gone through it and it's not going to be too bad for you. So just make sure that when you get ready to do it, that you just read through those extremely slow, and you've done it once already, and just make sure that you can understand that. So I'm going to go through and see who I have. If I miss anybody, let me know. Okay. From OS01, Deval, Barisat, I can't pronounce that.
Davila.
I'll miss it the next time. Jocelyn, I'm gonna call first names. She's here. Cruz Serrano.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Michelle Doran.
I'm here.
Bobby's gone. Chelsea's here. I have Avalos Reyes. I don't mind you correcting me. Charmaine Winston.
Right here. Iris Reyes.
Iris.
Iris.
Okay, Iris. You like Iris. Okay, I saw that. Hannah Chadwick. Kimberly Cox. Bailey McSwain. Laura Rosen. Karen Strunikas.
Strunitsky.
Strunitsky. I'm just gonna call you Karen Michelle.
That's fine.
Okay. Delisha Twitty. Did I miss anybody? That's all I have?
I think I'm in OS1. I'm pretty sure.
So what now?
I believe that I'm in OS1.
Yeah, I did OS1 and 2. I got you.
Oh, okay. You got me. Okay.
Everybody that I called out, I had.
Melissa Gore, I came in late because I had
Melissa Gore,
a staff meeting today, so I came in late.
And thank y'all for waiting. I just got news that I have an aunt who's critically ill, and I don't know if she's gonna make it. So, anybody else? I didn't call the name.
I just wanted to be sure you said Jeffries. I didn't hear it.
Jeffries. Danielle?
Yes, ma'am.
Nope. I didn't have it marked, but I've been seeing your name and you've been participating. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
It's marked on this sheet, but I didn't have it on that. And Gore's marked. Anybody else have any questions, any comments, any concerns? You have any concerns about your assignments coming up? You need to look through those. Don't forget your exam is earlier than the last week. It's a week before. If you see a date, please send me an email, please, so I can change it for you. I don't want anybody confused. Make sure you respond to your attendance is taken based on your response to your homework assignments. So if we only had a forum in the week that you had to outline that chapter, and if you didn't respond to the forum, then you were marked absent. So make sure you look at what your assignments are requesting and make sure you do that. And if you have questions, students aren't having difficulties, send an email. So send an email. And also when you send an email or correspondence, please put your OS01 or OS02. Because I have about 7 other classes and I don't remember whose class everybody is in. Okay? Y'all good? You know we're shutting down here this week, so just on campus. The students will go virtual.
I'm so sorry. Is there a limit, like a number of slides that you're looking for with PowerPoint this week?
So what now? No, I
No.
don't want you to make it 20 or 30, but cover what you need to cover. 15 or 16 slides should be good. If you need more than that, because you have to just say something, you may do so. But at least that would probably be max.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
And it would depends on if we have 16 or 17 terms and you want to put them all on a separate PowerPoint slide, I can understand that. So I won't punish anybody for that. I just don't want you to do 30 unless you have to. Okay. Question, comments, concerns?
Yes, Dr. Ben, will you be sending out the recorded session that you did tonight?
If you want it. If it recorded, y'all know it is so funny here sometimes. Sometimes I don't record. But this one is, so we'll see if we capture it. But it won't be tonight. It'll be tomorrow before it finishes because it's a long one. We've been here about an hour and a half. So it'll take it a while to download. But
Okay,
I'm gonna go send video.
Okay, I did email you during this because I came in late, but you can disregard those emails.
Gotcha.
So I can just listen to your Zoom. Thank you.
Well, we just went over, we did this. I'm really pleased. The class did a wonderful job with this. And I was just leery because I didn't think, I wanted more participation, but those who led the conversation did a really good job. And I just want to thank you for that. Appreciate it. You did a good job. I am so pleased. Thank you. All right. Good night, everybody. Y'all be safe. Have a happy Thanksgiving if we don't talk before then.
Hope your aunt feels better.
All right.
Good night. Well wishes to your aunt.
Thank you. Thank you so
Your aunt feels better. Good night.
Thank you. All right.
Have a good week, everybody.
You too.
Oh, Lord.